You'll never guess what happened to me. I'm all right now, obviously. Hello, I'm a comedian because I know the deal with airline peanuts, and if I told you what the deal was, then you'd be a comedian too, which I can't have, and so that's why I keep all the punchlines a secret. You know what? I think I might be confusing comedy with magic again. In which case, pick a card, any card. That one? Okay, now memorize it, but don't tell me what it is. Done that? Good. But it does occur to me that I don't know what the deal is with airline peanuts after all. As you know, dear viewer, I rarely talk about things in my real life as it makes me seem vulnerable, accessible, and real instead of violent, aloof, and artificial. I don't want you to think of me as an anxious, frail old man who is frightened to venture out beyond his blacked out windows, and instead think of me as a skeletal beanpole with a plushy hand puppet on one hand, giving me advice on what to do with the other hand that's holding a Molotov cocktail. As for the truth, it lies somewhere between. That's right, the truth itself lies somewhere every day. Can't trust it. I stepped off a flight of steps and lost the ability to step at all for a while, which led me to step up until I could make baby steps to step back on, which is a slightly less embarrassing way to relay that I fell off some concrete steps in my stockinged feet, and while falling 2 feet in a perpendicular motion, that is to say, straight down, I swiftly and cunningly thought to land squarely on my heels without bending my legs to absorb any of the impact. It took the wind right out of my sails, I can tell you that. Having been able-bodied all my life, I was suddenly wheelchair-bound and in the dollar store, which is where disabled people, like I was, have to shop, and it was eye-opening to say the least. What? No automatic door for your less able patrons? What? Barely navigable aisles for users of wheelchairs? What? A big 6-foot poster on the back wall that says, "Fuck you, disabled bastards, we hate you and wish you ill." In contrast, the other customers treated me like some kind of god. They'd jump out of my way, apologise for existing in my space, and offered to let me go ahead in the queue. I'm not a total cunt. I cheerfully pointed out that my arse was comfortably sat in a chair and that I had nothing pressing on, you know. The empathy impresses, but the rational thought doesn't, which is why when I am able-bodied, I push wheelchair users out my way to get to the checkout. When they balk, I just point to the poster at the back of the store. Corporate put that there. I've nothing bad to say about people who work in the dollar store. I couldn't walk without help, so I was forced to break my boycott of Wally World so I could buy crutches. I had no idea if I'd be able to use them to ambulate or not, but I could bear my weight standing, just couldn't move my feet for the slight twinge in my heels. If a slight twinge felt like hot broken glass being ground into my foot bones. So I'm in the parking lot of Wally World, and because I don't have a disabled placard, obviously, I can't park in the disabled space. Because I'm actually disabled, I can't nip in and out of the store faster than the response of Walmart's elite parking enforcement unit. I'm holding on to my vehicle as I manoeuvre around to the passenger door where the wheelchair is, pulling it out, putting it together, and then, as I sat, breathless, recovering my strength, the light was suddenly blotted out and a voice said, "Can't park there, mate." I look up, cupping my eyes against the midday sun. "What do you mean?" "You should be in the disabled spot." "I don't have a placard." "That's not good enough, is it? You're clearly disabled and need to be parked much closer to the store. In addition, You should just walk into the store like you would any other time so that other people get angry because they can't see what's up with you. I can't walk. Oh, you're going to be like that, are you? Have you considered the glue factory? I got the crutches, assembled them in the parking lot, and they worked, which was good because it meant that I didn't have to miss any shifts at the paid job. No sick pay in the USA. I don't have health insurance, can't afford it even though I'm supposedly a professional, so I never considered going to see a doctor. In the event of intractable and unrelenting agony, my solution is a bullet to the head rather than give any more to the money-grubbing, morally bankrupt healthcare industry. Nobody's fooled with your complimentary lollipops. The one murdered CEO was a good start, but I think the next major thing should be a controlled implosion of some healthcare insurance HQ, where the only staff who are told about the demolition are the ancillary workers. Cleaners, cooks, the mules that cart the gold bars round from revenues received to the shareholders via the administrative offices and the chimney sweeps. Boom! Society has just been improved. Healthcare should be nationalised, which is to say, owned by the people and free to anybody who requires it, from cradle to grave. One thing you shouldn't have to worry about beyond what ails you. Cheaper than it would be under the capitalist model too, by a wide margin. There'd be enough savings to take care of some other shit too. I don't know if you've ever noticed just how hostile the environment is for disabled people. Like I was. No dips in the curbs for wheelchairs, or the ones that are there are in poor repair. Pavement that threatens to tip you over at any moment, and walking on it using crutches is even worse. I could imagine a situation where I come unglued with the crutches, be back in the wheelchair, and then, on the same stretch of pavement, end up with the chair on top of me and partially up my backside as well, somehow, leading me to being quadriplegic with an itchy crotch. It couldn't be worse. Unless Love Island came on the telly and there was nobody there to shoot you dead. With all the cash we'd save by blowing up the para-healthcare industry and instituting nationalised healthcare, we could have an environment where people who have disabilities are empowered to participate in the community in as smooth and as unobstructed a way as possible. But now I'm able-bodied again, I don't have to think about such things. I'm back to pushing Zimmer frame-wielding grandparents out of my path at the grocery and steering those electric dodgem cars out of the way when I want something from the freezer they're blocking, or if I don't want something from the freezer they're blocking. I was going to sit in the wheelchair and do that thing where you balance on the main wheels, but decided that it probably wouldn't be a good idea. I imagined starting the camera, getting into position, and then, for a while, managing to balance the chair, but then, oh dear, I land squarely on my back and break my neck, instantly becoming a quadriplegic. I feel the packet of itching powder I have in my pants pocket explode, and fuck me, the kerfuffle causes the television remote to fall from the coffee table, and the TV is booting up, and guess what's on? When they find my corpse many, many years from now, did I ever mention I'm asocial? But many years from now, they'll clock the situation, review the footage, once they found the period-relevant instruments to do that, many, many years, and then probably say something like, "What a wanker, he didn't even balance it, just fell hard right onto his back, and somehow the chair also managed to partially lodge itself halfway up his arsehole." Their pedantic co-worker might point out that in my quadriplegic state I couldn't possibly be a wanker, only to receive the glib response, "If he'd gained the use of his upper limbs, I guarantee the first thing they would have been furiously fussing with would have been his crotch." The battery would have died on the camera before I died. If it was plugged into the outlet, then it would have run out of memory before I died. Cameras are pretty shit if you're planning a protracted and extremely dull snuff movie. I think that might be enough damage for this instalment. I got my wind back, but I'm easing off the gas a little. Maybe. I like to set things in stone, but have an annoying habit of confusing unyielding and immovable rock with wet sand, which is a bit of a problem whenever I try to commit to anything, or make plans. I'm not working on a special if that's what you suspect. There's nothing special about it. It's just something that isn't particularly this or that, but has a bit of the other. Yeah, I'm just talking complete rubbish now. Damage control, nowhere to be seen. That's all for this episode. Thanks for watching, and remember, anything. Good night. Oh, it doesn't hurt, but I can't move. And my crotch, it itches like, you wouldn't believe it. It itches so much. I can't stand it. Oh, this situation, it couldn't be any worse. Oh my God.